Hey, here's the deal. Every single time I go into clinic, for whatever reason, my vital signs are all over the place. They're just whacked out. I don't know exactly what's going on, but it seems that my heart rate is up, my blood pressure is up, but yet, strangely enough, my oxygen level is down. What could be going on? What's the deal, and what can I do about it?
Hit the subscribe button and the bell notification to become part of the Transplant Helper community.
Hey folks, welcome back to the Transplant Helper again today. My name is Jim Merle, and yes, this is a real documented condition that you're dealing with. It's known as white coat syndrome, aka white coat hypertension. It is a real documented medical condition. Most physicians already are aware of this, and they know this, and a lot of times they'll take that into account when they're viewing your vital signs when you finally get down the hall into the doctor. And basically what is happening here when you're sitting down for those vital signs, because there's always a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of stress that is added to many of us when we go into hospitals, clinics, doctor's offices, emergency rooms, or any other stressful situation for that matter, albeit you're not typically having your vitals taken during those times. But when you go into the doctor's office, basically your body gets stressed and it goes into what is known as the flight or fight mode. And what that is actually doing is trying to protect your body by drawing the blood pool back into your vital organs, so right in the core of your body, taking care of your head and heart and that stuff, but it's drawing it away from your fingertips, from your extremities overall. And so that shows up on those vital signs as being a little bit out of whack. And yes, it causes your blood pressure and your heart rate to go up because of the stress. As the heart beats faster, the blood pressure becomes a little bit stronger, a little bit higher. But at the same time, while that is happening, your blood is not actually circulating the oxygen in exactly the proper manner, and particularly in your extremities, because that blood's being drawn out of them into your core. You may get those low oxygen levels, particularly if they're using a pulse oximeter on that fingertip. They just may not be accurate. So a lot of times what's happened with me in clinic, even though I don't actually feel stressed, is I go in, they set me down in the hallway right outside the little treatment area, sit me down right there, take my vital signs, and I'll have a blood pressure of say 198/90. I'll have a heart rate of 136, and I may have an oxygen level of say 90/95. That's not bad. That's not terrible bad, but it's enough that when I get in to see the doctor in just a moment, I walk in that little room, sit down, put on the gown, they look at me and say, Mr. Merle, you know your blood pressure's up, your heart rate's up, and your oxygen level's low today. If they're not paying attention, at least they may do that. And they have a couple of different times in the past, particularly the fellows or the residents that come in. But nonetheless, it's probably no big deal. Now, if this occurs over and over again, time after time, even with you purposefully trying to relax before those vitals start by, closing your eyes, relaxing those muscles, taking some deep breaths, whatever, kind of preparing your mind even before you get taken to the back for the vitals. Even if you're doing that, if it's still high, if there's still an issue, then that's when they might want to be a little bit more concerned. But in general, you're probably still, if you're like I am, and you're very vigilant about your actual health, maybe you've got some vitals that you've taken at home where you can say, I get it that my blood pressure seems really high right here in clinic, but I took it home an hour ago and it was fine. Or I took it at home over the course of the last few days and it was fine. You can do the same thing with that O2 or oxygen sensor. Those things are like $15 on Amazon or something like that. I'll link a couple of them up here in the, or down here, not up here, down here in the description. You can go ahead and check some of those out. They're not bad. I've checked the accuracy on them versus my Apple Watch, which is not always perfect, but I've checked it against my Apple Watch and even snuck mine in and kind of slipped it on my finger while they're taking the oxygen in clinic. Seems to be fairly accurate on all three, in the watch and my pulse oximeter and theirs. So, pretty good stuff. You can keep an eye on these vitals, and I would always suggest that you do that, because the most important thing for you to do as a transplant patient is to know your body, because you know your body better than anyone else. And if you can tell those physicians, those clinicians in there, look, mine's not always like this, or maybe it is. Maybe you can go in and say, look, it may be the opposite sometimes. Mine checked normal today, but I want you to know mine's been elevated. You're going to be ahead of the game in doing that. But maybe you're like I am, you suffer with a little bit of anxiety, therefore a little bit of white coat syndrome. You're going to be fine. Most physicians already take that into account, and then you just move on with life. Thanks for the question. Until next time, stay stronger, my friends.